Former Vice President Pence, who's running for president, has proclaimed that the United States forces, our military, will face Russia in war if Ukraine fails. You got to be kidding me. And more than that, we have the British Prime Minister, Ben Wallace, calling for war with Russia. Now has been joined by a member of Parliament, Tobias Ellwood, and others. So we got all these people who seem to be chomping at the bit, along with, shoot, what's that senator's name? I'm getting brain lock, guys. But guys, we have a lot of people in the United States calling for war. And Graham, gosh, guys, we get a lot of people here in the United States, Blumenthal, Richard Blumenthal, and Lindsey Graham. We got a lot of people here in the United States calling for war with Russia. They're wanting us to get into it. We have a lot of hawks that are circling that just have the taste for blood. We don't need this. We don't need it at all. But on top of that, we have Lukashenko basically saying that he's got his finger on the buttons for the tactical nukes that's going into Belarus. Say, what? Where does this come from? You know, in the United States, we do indeed have nukes in other countries. That's a fact. We have nuclear weapons at bases in other countries, but they're under the direct control of the United States. Direct control, the United States only. Some people worry that our weapons in Turkey might get seized by Erdogan. So there's concerns about that. And maybe, those concerns, I have to say, have some founding to them. So there are a lot of things out there that we got to keep our eyes wide open, head on swivel for. So this whole mess with what's going on over there might boil over. It could enrich. But what is this with Lukashenko? Why is he so rushed to get tactical nukes into Belarus? And then Lukashenko comes out and makes a rogue statement like this, as if he's being rogue. Is all this a stage? Could it be that he is going to be used as a patsy to do something that Russia don't want to do directly, so they can blame it on them? Could it be that Lukashenko just wants to be able to say this to keep Poland in check, because Poland is very anti-Lukashenko. Lukashenko and the Polish have been at odds with each other to a great deal. In fact, Lukashenko basically weaponized immigration by sending hordes of immigrants into Poland and other European countries, primarily Poland. So there's a lot of angst between Poland. In fact, Poland had talked about going in and overthrowing Lukashenko when after the last election, because a lot of people claimed that there were illegitimacies to it. Let's put it this way. I don't know, guys. I wasn't there. Can't mark it, but there were a lot of protests against Lukashenko after he got elected, because a lot of people thought that the other person actually got elected, and those protests were put down brutally. Well, we wouldn't know anything about election claims or counterclaims here now, would we? So what is really cooking over there? And could it be that he's been, I talked the other day, says, I didn't think that the Wagner Group would just go out and launch on the NATO meeting coming up on the 11th and 12th of July, because that would seem so over the top after Wagner had been so involved with Russia. But seeing the kind of things that Lukashenko is saying now makes you wonder a little bit. Yeah, could something be cooking here? Could there be an agenda? Is the NATO meeting a target? I still don't think so. But you got to stop and at least go sometimes and just wonder what's cooking. What is really coming up? We're in perilous times, especially when you hear that if Russia loses, if they're losing, that they're more likely to declare a war. Now, if Ukraine's winning, if Russia's winning, we're likely to get in. We're almost danged if we do and danged if we don't. The good news is I've heard, and I can't find an article right now, but I read an article earlier that stated that there's some backdoor channels trying to talk some kind of peace deal, peace off ramps. On the American side, it's apparently not any direct immediate U.S. officials. It's like former officials, former statesmen. But apparently they're talking with Lavrov, who is the foreign minister of Russia. So on the Russian side, it's high level. So could this go somewhere? Could it finally throw some water in these fires before this turns into a burning inferno? I really think that there are powers in the West that want war. I hate to say that. I actually plan to do a video in the not too distant future on that topic. I'm going to be probably getting myself in a situation where I may not have as much time to do the news research I'm doing now. So maybe it'll be a good time to talk about such generalities is that and other things that need some discussion on here. So I'm going to share some articles here. Oh yeah, Zaporizhzhia. It's not over, guys. Well, where's Waldo? I meant Prigozhin. There's just a lot of things. Oh yeah, and that's the other thing. Those so-called camps for the Wagner Group apparently got very few people in it, and over in Belarus. So what's happening with that? And apparently Prigozhin may have actually never showed up in Russia at all. So it seems that he's got a body double, and he's got disguises to hide himself, as we've learned from his house being raided by the FSB, the Russian former KGB organization. So, and apparently they got away with a bunch of the money he had stored there and flew his helicopter off, but they claimed to have taken the stuff back, but Prigozhin says they didn't. Why is he still in Russia? It seems to be a violation of his deal, but he seems to be still walking free. You smell a rat in the wood pile? Does something smell fishy? Is something cooking? Is there a backdoor deal between Prigozhin and Putin? Was all this staged, or is Prigozhin just that bad? Is he's smart as a fox? That's pretty. He's said to be bipolar, according to some, but maybe that's an excuse. They maybe need good dog, bad dog scenario sometimes. Sometimes you want to be the staid, conservative, and so you might be the one pushing for war and things, but suddenly when you look a lot more conservative and well regulated compared to somebody else out here, people might turn to you instead of this one. But what's the game in play? Is there a game here, or is Prigozhin just a wild card? Is he totally loose? And is he smart enough to not take those flying lessons out of a window as almost everybody else who's opposed Putin? I don't know, guys. This is getting interesting. It's like a soap opera, but it's high stakes. And so it merits some watch, because it could boil over into some kind of strike like we never seen. Supposedly Wagner was supposed to go out of Russia. They had options to either stand down, to go to the camps and join the Russian military, or to go to Belarus. Apparently they've not done any of that, and they're still openly recruiting inside of Russia. And Prigozhin is inside of Russia. And in fact, when this was brought up by some of the Russian officials recently, some of them just said, yeah, so what kind of attitudes are. This is really strange. That's why I'm beginning to smell a rat in a wood pile. I don't know, guys. This is just off the charts. But we're going to talk about climate. We're going to talk about the so-called 3 hottest days ever. Well, it's been a bit warm, but actually the NOAA challenged that, believe it or not. That shocked me. A federal agency did not jump on the full 100% on the global heating, hotting up bandwagon. Apparently they threw a little bit of dispersion in it, but I'm going to show you that in the overall scheme of things, why this is what we're talking about now is actually fairly trivial. And I'm going to show you the data that goes way back, take from ice core samples and everything. So we're going to talk it from the science end. Anyway, so let's get into it. I don't want to be too long tonight, because I got to get up really early to go to a funeral in Georgia tomorrow. So, all right, let's do this. Let's go do share screens. We're going to talk through these things. Bada bing, bada bang. And here's an article. I'm kind of down into it here. Lukashenko appeared to be at odds with the Kremlin in terms of whose finger was on the nuke trigger. And according to him, this is what he said. In Ukraine, the whole army is fighting with foreign weapons, isn't it? NATO weapons, because they've run out. And then it goes on to say, so why can't I fight with somebody else's weapons? Nuclear, yes, they're weapons too. Tactical nukes. Guys, what kind of language is this? Of course, he's talking about how he told, he's playing the tough guy here, telling about how he told Prigozhin to nip it in the bud. Well, he did stop the advance, but what is really cooking here, guys? There is some huge, it's like some ginormous game is being played. See, this is the title of the article way up here. Powerless Putin warned his days are numbered after Lukashenko's brutal swipe. He actually accused Lukashenko, basically said that Putin was no hero, which is kind of a shocking thing for him to say. And he's made various statements also about, the whereabouts of Prigozhin. So forgive me if I'm a little slow tonight. It's late. I'm sleep deprived. So guys, you know, this is all crazy stuff. Oh yeah, this woman here. Check this out. California Police Union Director charged with importing fentanyl. Police union. Oh my gosh. We got all kind of corruption in this country. Anyway. And then there's this news. The U.S. will provide cluster munitions to Ukraine as part of the new military aid package. These are in hand with the ATACMS missile, which the ATACMS missile without cluster munitions was deemed to be over the red line because they can attack Russia with it. Now, supposing we're getting guarantees from wink, wink, nod, nod that they won't do that, right? So how is that going to hold up? Cluster munitions. I've shown videos in the past on this channel of the ATACMS with cluster munitions just totally obliterating everything on the battlefield. It is devastating. Holy smoke with that. Maybe I need to play some more of that again. Go back and see some old videos where I was talking about ways to stop hypersonic weapons, ways to stop. Yeah, I've done videos on this channel on my Galactic Greg's channel. You might find it easier on Galactic Greg's. Go to that channel. I'm going to open up the chat room here in a minute. I'm going to go through some of these. I probably should, just in case I missed something really key. Let me go ahead and open up the chat room. At least I get a super chat or something. Definitely want to recognize that if it comes across. So let's open it up here. And I keep going through these articles. Yeah. Well, we got to scroll so much to find stuff. So many people in the room here. We're live because I'm just, I'm really late here to get all this stuff in here. And we've got 113 in the room and only 60 thumbs up. So help me out with that, guys. All right. New Daze. Cha-Cha, good to see you. Jesse Mills. Desert Rose, sweetheart. And we got JoJo, how are you doing? Bible teaches the world will be destroyed by fire. We're seem to be heck bent to get there. Anyway. Yeah. Anyway, so we got Australia in the house. Very good. Very good. Very good. Building lines. All right. So let's keep going here. Cluster munitions. Oh my gosh. Those are devastating. Devastating. So, all right, what was I trying to get to with this? I got to scroll down into the meat of the article. Oh yeah, why Russia increasingly believes the West wants to destroy their country. Do I even need to show this? I mean, really and truly, they do believe that. And this war is existential to Russia. Because among other things, they believe if they lose this, and especially if they lose like Rostov-on-Don, which the Wagner group took in their first thrust, that they've lost the control of the southern part of Russia, they'll lose the Caucasus, actually the Chechens will probably rebel against the Yadro, what's his name? Oh shit, I'm getting a little brain rot tonight. The guy who's in charge of Chechens for Putin. And that he would probably get overthrown, and the Chechen would go in rebellion again, and maybe some of the other Siberian so-called republics, cultures might go in rebellion. So they really think that Russia might go unzipped if they don't win now. So this is bigger to them than a lot of us come to realize, seemingly. But they really think that we are out to destroy their country, guys. And I would say that there are forces here in the West that probably, and in fact, they've said things that indicate that's the case. So you can't blame them for thinking that when we've had people pretty much say as much over here, which is crazy. It's crazy. We can't go in and destroy a nuclear power like that. But they might unzip on their own. But see, that's why this is such an existential fight for them. This is why it could go nuclear. This is why we need a peace deal. And it may be that some people just got to surrender some stuff, like, taking Crimea, for example. Yeah. Well, here we are. Here's another one. No doubt U.S. will go to war with Russia if Ukraine fails, Pence says. This ain't the first article I had on this. Where was that at? Anyway. So this, I swear, this is in USA Today. Pence has made this statement. Tobias Elwood, member of Parliament, former soldier, actually calling for direct war against Russia. So the UK is really jumping more so in this direction than the United States. That's why Russians are really got a lot of hatred for the UK right now. Oh, come on, quit this stuff. Oh, thanks. Yep. So there's another article. Lukashenko says he can activate Russian nuclear weapon station in Belarus. Control is carried out perfectly. But anyway, guys, if this don't get you thinking about prepping, what will? I highly encourage you to go to prepwithgreg.com, prepwithgreg.com, and check out. We got specials now, $80 off the 4-week food kit, which is two of these buckets. It gives you 3 meals a day, 2,000 calories per day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and some desserts. And these buckets are rugged. You can bury them. You can put them in your canoe, in your vehicle. You can throw these pouches. They're sealed. These are sealed. That's why I say you can bury them. That's what I like about them. This is good bug out cache type food that you can hide. So there you go, prepwithgreg.com. And you can go in here and find other prepping supplies by clicking on my page. Supply to include water and air filtration and other things. So check it out, my friends. Russian forces attempt to push Ukrainian armed forces out of their positions on the LEHMAN'S front. I think I've already talked about this in my recent video that that LEHMAN'S is going to be the crux of where the Russians are trying to push right now, just to draw the forces of Ukraine away from Crimea by putting enough force here that they're going to force the Ukrainians to react to that. And so they're planning to push hard. And I've just covered how they're adding 180,000 soldiers to this fray. So that's why I did that video, The Empire Strikes Back. Prep with Jesus. There you go, Stephen. So if I missed anything. Hey, Cindy Lou, how you doing? No 80 high. I got big worm in the house. Yes, there you go. Salt cod. Hey, that's a good thing to do. Salt your meats. Oh, what happened here? I got losing my things on top. Oh, Ukraine launches missile strikes on Russia's across the entire front. That was not supposed to open individually like that. Let me close that out. So, yeah, there's a lot of war going on over there. I hate it when you open an article, you go in and close all this stuff out. When you come back into it, all that junk reopens. So I can get this to scroll the top banner away. Nope, I ain't gonna do it right now. I hate all these ads. Western officials hunt for signs of Wagner and nuclear warheads in Belarus ahead of what? NATO summit. Our intel is concerned about this NATO summit. I've been talking about this. I've been thinking, well, maybe it won't happen. But when you start really looking at it, this whole drama with Lukashenko, with Prigozhin, with the statements that Lukashenko is making, with Prigozhin. Hey, Colorado Jan, I got your super chat check in the mail. Thank you, Colorado Jan. You're awesome. So yeah, Colorado Jan sent me a super chat in the mail, check in the mail. Thank you so much. She's awesome. All right, guys. So Western Intel hunting for signs of the Wagner Group. See, Western Intel apparently is concerned that they may have an op-hold on the NATO meeting in Vilnius. This starts on the 11th. The day is the 8th. So that starts 3 days away, guys. Are we 3 days to mayhem? Are we 3 days to NATO making decisions that's really going to throw Russia in a tizzy? What's going to happen? So what does when the shizzy hits the fizzy, you'll all be in a tizzy. So I'm borrowing from Canadian Prepper now. He did a video today where he had his AI saying his language, shizzy hits a tizzy, yeah, fizzy, and I thought that was funny. He's taught AI to speak Canadian Prepper. So yeah, now they're saying he's got a body double. Yeah, they raided his place. There's just too many weird things going on here. A lot of it is just off the charts. You know, supposedly they were going to take him out. They're going to leave him alone. What does this guy have? How is he getting away with it? How is he still walking and talking and surviving? And why did the FSB, when they raided his place, turn around and take a bunch of the stuff back? This guy's got some game. He's sharp as a fox, or there's a big front being played on us. He's either sharp as a fox. He's got some aces up his sleeve, which you expect like a guy like that to have. Or is there some other game being played? And why is the intel sources looking? Where is the Wagner Group at? Where are they? What are they doing? Where are these nukes at? You know, I talked to the Wagner Group might have some. Yeah. And so we got to have the codes. Well, they can probably hotwire that stuff. And then again, maybe they got the codes. Maybe Putin gave it to them. I don't know, guys. I mean, how can Lukashenko talk so certainly about having his finger on the trigger as if he can do all these launches? Maybe they're giving it to him. I don't know, guys. So, all right, this article here, now this is published in the Pravda out of Ukraine, but it's saying, there's not anything to worry about. But the real source of this is the American Nuclear Society, and they're trying to be pro-nuke and trying to dismiss everything. Don't worry your pretty little heads. It's all okay. Nothing's going to happen. Now, they're right that the reactors, the containment buildings, are indeed designed to withstand some huge disaster. The thick reinforced steel concrete containment building where the reactor is can take a direct hit from a large-scale airplane. That's a fact. It is huge. It's thick, with lots of concrete and rebar. But that still don't talk to the spent fuel rod pools. Now, what they talk about in here is the reactor and the dry cast fuel. They talk about fuel in containers, and that is your dry cast fuel. They do not, in this article, even talk about the spent fuel rods. So I call BS, I call big BS on this self-aggrandizement American Nuclear Society, because they're trying to serve their own purposes here. And they are throwing dispersions out here, and they're missing the point. I don't talk about the reactors. You don't hear me talking about the reactors. You don't hear me talking about the stuff that's been dry cast. I don't talk about those subjects. So they're telling you it's the reactors fine and dry cast are fine. Well, sure. That's why I don't talk about them. But the spent fuel rods, guys, I have shown you pictures of the test that Sandia Laboratories has conducted, which shows you that when they're hot and make contact with air, they're going to burn. And those, that fuel pool, that cooling pool might have water in it now, but it takes, at least American pools take 160 gallons a minute to refurbish them. And over time, that pool is going to evaporate down and get replenished from that. So there is danger. There's more than that. So even though the American Nuclear Society says everything is fine, the company that runs the plants don't agree. So I'm seeing all these articles, all the reactors were shut down a year ago. They were all shut down a year. I just saw articles on that just today, like 3 or 4 articles saying this. It's not true. By the admission of the company that runs the place, they will tell you that reactors 4 and 5 are in hot shutdown, not cold shutdown. Violation of the basic requirements for Operation Zaporizhzhia NPP nuclear unit number 5. They're chaffing that Russia refuses to put it in a cold shutdown. Could lead to an accident. This is from Inertia Atom. This is the Ukrainian nuclear power company. And they emphasize number 5 was commissioned over 34 years ago. Therefore, to maintain safe operation, they have to keep it in high maintenance and repair. And these repairs have not been performed in over a year. They're concerned about the state of repair and maintenance on these reactors. There's been no repairs, no maintenance on the reactors. And it's not just unit 5, it's unit 4 and 5 and a hot shutdown, according to this. The Occupation Administration of the station has been maintaining an operation in a hot shutdown state, which goes against tons of articles out there. Like I said, I've seen at least 3 today. I mean, they've all been shut down over a year ago. They're all in cold shutdown even. But, you know, so who am I to listen to, the American Nuclear Society, or am I to listen to the company that runs the stuff? You know, you tell me. Who am I to listen to? But then again, I'm not so worried about the reactors. Now, they're telling me the reactors are a danger here. But I'm more concerned about the spent fuel rod pools, which that other article ignored entirely. You know, let me tell you a story, but we'll just tell you the story from this perspective. We'll paint you part of the spectrum, part of the picture, and tell you that all the truth is right here. But sometimes you got to back up and look at the whole picture to understand what's going on. And I call that article misleading. I call that article propaganda. I call out the American Nuclear Society and call BS on them. That's what I do. I call BS them. Now, nuclear power can be safe, but you got to have, I say we ought to have a modular, those little small modular nuclear plants at every major nuclear power plant, just to give them backup power so they don't have to rely on the diesel generators. That's what I would say. And we need to go over to some of these, and we need to have fuel reprocessing. We need to reprocess all the spent fuel. We could have fuel for a long time if we did that. But the uranium industry don't want to see that. And there are companies in the United States that want to do that processing. They're set up for it. But they can't get clearance. They've invested money to be able to do this, but they can't get clearance from the Nuclear Regulatory Commission here in the United States, because I guess they got their hands are in the pocket. They have a revolving door with the uranium industry or something. I don't know, guys, but it's just crazy. They're sitting on this, and it could do so much for us. It needs to be done. We need to fuel. We need to get rid of that spent fuel. We need to make our reactors safer, but they're sitting on it. Yeah, I'm amped, VidCon, because these guys are throwing junk out, and they got too much vested interest. That's the word I was trying to come up with earlier. There's too much vested interest out there that needs to be blown away. There's too much nepotism, vested interest, and too much collusion between the regulatory agencies and the regulatees, the regulators and regulatees, because they got revolving doors between these companies and agencies. People, employments, they just go zing, zing, zing back and forth. They don't look out for you and me, the citizen, or what's the best for the country. They just look out for themselves and their bottom lines, the next step in their career. So they don't want to rock the boat. I said we need to sink the darn boat with those organizations and get this thing fixed and done right. Nuclear power can be safe if done right, but when you got all these spent fuel rods laying around, that's not good. It could be reprocessed. Hey, well, thank you, Island Girl. This stuff could be reprocessed, and it would give us more fuel. Let's see, what did you say? How do you say that? Felshentinsky wrote months ago that Putin would stage rebels sinking nukes and have a nuclear option to avoid Article 5. Wow. Yeah, I had seen some suggestions to that coming out of Israeli intelligence. Well, that may fit with where we're at, because there is definitely, NRC is not a government. There you go. Well, then that's like in the electrical power with FERC and NERC. You got an incestuous relationship between the National Energy Regulatory Commission and the which is a company, private company, and the FERC, which is the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission. So you've got the same thing going on between them, but they got to set up with the companies propose regulations. The government can't even propose the regulations. They just rubber stamp what this company consortium comes up with. Well, FERC rubber stamps NERC, which is total BS. And then got revolving doors between them too. So you see this all across the board between the regulator and the regulatee, especially your three-letter agencies. They're just waste of tax money, and they don't serve us at all. Perky for 2 a.m. Yeah, I got to go to bed in a little bit, so I need to unperk. I have to wind down. Anyway, Christian eunuchs. Oh Lord, we got some. There's some eunuchs up there somewhere. I think we got mental eunuchs in Washington D.C. Anyway, guys, so this is what I'm talking about, guys. They're saying this reactors are not safe. They're saying that units 4 and 5 are both in hot shutdown. Here we go. Russians are, yeah, as reported, Russians are gone to put ZNPP power unit number 4 into a hot shutdown. This suggests it's not even in a hot shutdown yet. I'd seen some other things say they were running number 4 to provide some power. I'd seen things do that. You work for TVA for a minute. Oh my gosh, the funeral I'm going to is a friend of mine who used to be a nuclear submariner, and he worked up in the TVA plants in Chiqualia. I don't know, you ever heard of Spence Hatfield, VidCom? So, yeah. He just passed away. He's a great man, a co-worker of mine, good friend of mine. So I don't normally drive all the way to Georgia for a funeral unless I've been pretty close to him. So guys, this is crazy. This is crazy. But see what you're seeing? You are seeing information in the news media that countervails each other. You're seeing some people say everything's okay, but when it comes straight from the company that runs it, and this is the data, this tells you what's happening there. And I've heard this from other sources. So these guys that say they're all in cold shutdown, I thought that when I first saw that, but no, it's not the case. So what's cooking, guys, are the nuke plants? But I'm worried still more about the spent fuel rod pools, which the American Society of there I mentioned didn't even speak to that. They talked about containers, which is the dry cast fuel, and the reactors. I don't worry about either one of them so much, even though they are throwing some stuff out there. It's not exactly right about reactors. During hot shutdown, yeah, they can leak radiation. It can be a problem. And you know, what we don't want to have happen is generate a bunch of hydrogen and cause an internal explosion, as we saw at Fukushima. I don't know. If number 4 is still running, who knows? Sorry, Greg. What are you sorry about, Melanie? It's good. It doesn't freeze. Anyway, all right. So let's go on here. Now, this is supposedly satellite images that are showing white dots up here that claim are explosives. And I don't know, guys. Wait a minute. Where's that? Yeah, let me show you this. Hang on. Let's go back here. I don't know what this is. This is the actual report from the IAEA. This is the report on the 7th of July, which to me is still the 7th because I haven't gone to bed yet. Although by calendar, it's now the 8th here. So basically in this article, they're putting one of these out every day right now from the IAEA. They're saying they've got more access. They've not found any mines, but they still haven't got all the access they want. They've not been up on the roofs of these buildings. So this is a government agency, basically the UN, so I should be able to show this article fully without having to worry about it. So they did check the gate at the cooling pond. It's not leaking. That's good. That's why you saw articles claiming the cooling pond is stable. Well, it is stable, but it's still going to be evaporating and being drawn from to evaporate or to cool the spent fuel rods and the special reactors. 4 and 5 have got to have really active cooling, and they all still require some cooling, 4 and 5 especially. So yeah, he says they're not aware of any mines, but they do want to see other parts. So the Director General reiterated the importance of the IAEA team being able to check all parts of the ZNPP to monitor full compliance with the basic 5 levels, basic 5 principles for protecting Europe's largest nuclear plant. They've not been able to see the whole thing. So following our request, our experts have gained some additional access to the site, but they still need more access, including the rooftops of reactors 3 and 4. And that is where this claims there's stuff up there, but they're not being given access to this. So you can't claim they've seen everything, but also, you know, how much damage can you really do? You're not going to hit the reactor building. What you might do is take out some of the controls in here and a water pumping system that helps keep that cool. But you're not going to take out the reactor building directly. But you might do damage to the control system, some of which are outside the containment building. So it is still possible to do significant damage to the nuclear power plant that would cause reactor problems. But the roof, that's the last place you'd want to put explosives. You're serious about taking it out, they would put them inside. Now, Lee Wilbarger maintains that they have indeed put them inside. That may be the case. I don't know. But whatever the case is, the IAEA has not found anything. You know, their director is Grossi. That's his name. Oh, yeah. Let's change subjects here for a minute. China's military. Hey, Robert Hodges, thank you. Get something stronger than coffee. Thank you. Thank you, Robert Hodges and Island Girl. Thank you both. So, China's military is leading the development of weapons that can disrupt brain functions. When I was in the Army, somewhere around late 79, early 80, I remember the guy who was our nuclear, biological, chemical weapons expert telling us that such technologies existed. And he was talking about, you know, basically targeting synapses between the neurons. If you get the right frequency, you disrupt the synapses. If you do it lightly, you can cause somebody to get sick, confused. You do it a little heavier, you can cause them to pass out. If you crank the dial up more, you can actually kill people with this kind of technology, according to him. Yeah, we don't need no warmonger. And I have confirmed and seen docs. Also, the person between P and R sent me a mole list on social media. Do I trust that person? Yes. That person's over 35 years. Hey, Drops, what you got done? Drops is an engineer. Go back and see what Drops is said in here. That looks interesting. Not kidding, famine coming. Yeah, I'm expecting. We got some real issues with fertilizers and things. Meetings and letters to farmers show a grave outcome this year. Stock up on food. I've confirmed this from several farmers here in Washington State, Missouri, and more. Yeah, I totally expect some big shortages. Not to mention, I'm also expecting that China's going to buy up a lot of this stuff. Cluster will probably try Putin's patience. Yeah, cluster bombs. That's definitely going to try them, especially coming out of the ATACMS, which is what the ATACMS was set up to do originally. Triggered is this news about China talking about TikTok. Oh no, that's their other brain rot platform. Yeah, they're trying to tackle brains. Let's see this. Let's see if I can find it right there. There's a word for this now. Electromagnetic beams. Let's see. So there's a study enumerating, targeting, and collapsing the Chinese Communist Party's neurostrike program. That's what it's called now. Neurostrike program. All right, guys. So, all righty. Let's change topics again. NOAA throws cold water on media hysteria on the 3 hottest days on record. You've seen other YouTubers in the prepping community come on here and they were on board with this. We just had the 3 hottest days on record. You didn't hear me say it. You've heard others say it. Now some are believing that. Some are believing it because they've been seeing so much of this stuff, it's got to them. So numerous corporate media, corporate media runs the country, right? They run the world today. Drove the narrative that the 3rd of July to the 5th of July was the hottest 72-hour period ever, on record at least, citing computer models from the University of Maine. Hey, New Daze. But the NOAA says, hey, it's not dependable as traditional observational data. Bing! Remember I said I got to see what my friend Roy Spencer, he watches the satellite data, has to say about this. The sun is getting weaker. Well, right now, though, she's throwing out a lot of flares. She's pretty active, but that can contribute to some heat. All right, guys. This guy is standing on grounds where alligators once, in Wyoming, where alligators once roamed 52 million years ago. 52 million years ago, where he was standing was alligators. There's fossils. You can dig up the bones of alligators right there in Wyoming where this guy was standing. Alligators, 52 million years ago. I hear they were even up at the Arctic Ocean. So are we seeing, Greta tells us we're at the end of the world. AOC tells us that all life's going to end. It's going to be the end of the world. We're doomed. Well, we may have challenges if the climate changes one way or the other. If it gets outside the kilter where we're at today, either direction, you can have severe food shortages, especially when we are so maxed out in so many ways. And as a matter of fact, the climate does change. It changes a lot, and it has done so throughout the existence of Earth. Like I'm going to show you here. This is the last, over 5.5 million years. Oh yeah, there's another chart of this on that one too. This is the glaciation periods are here. And you can see here This was that hot spike 52 million years ago. That's when gators were swimming in Wyoming. But look here, it was even hotter than that once, and even hotter before and before, within this period of time. Now I'm going to show you in this period the temperatures. But let's go back. This article over here actually has a chart too, similar to that one. This one, of course, this got it. This is one of these. This article is actually telling us that, yeah, we're doomsday is coming. This is in that category. This is a doomsday is coming article. So they had to throw up this little spike at the end. But this chart is interesting because they show you what parts are where you have polar ice caps and not. Below this line here, you have polar ice caps. Above it, you don't. Now, historically over the period, they're right. What about this? But we're still far from here or here or over here and much higher. So this chart's pretty close. This is a chart that's got a lot of research behind. I've been more on this chart. But what's this chart show? Even this black curve don't really match the blue curve. If they drew this black curve to match the blue curve, it would be heading down a lot steeper. So they show it kind of petering back up, but that's not what this data shows. This curve should be heading down sharper. So what's happening is the world is cooling. It's been cooling since before the dinosaurs died out. The dinosaurs supposedly died out about right here, or maybe on the very edge of this. But the world has been cooling. Wow. And look at this. So we're going to look at the last ice age. See, what we're looking at here is, go back over here. If this thing will let me do it. Uh-oh, it just ended that chart. Dadgummit. I hate it when I try to switch to something that kills it. This is that little blue pocket at the bottom of that previous chart. That's the little blue shorter range thing. This is not millions of years, but thousands of years. So over the last several thousands of years, which we've been in an ice age, a glaciation period, as it showed on that chart, what do you got? We get these brief little interglacial periods up here when it warms up just enough to give you an interglacial where the glaciers melt away. And you can see even in them, the temperature has been a lot hotter than it is today. So if you look at this little section right here, now we're going to look at this. The trend has been down, even in that. Now they've come up and drawn a bar here, but see this bar where our current bar does not exceed this bar. In fact, it's not as high as this bar. And they're talking about, well, this is the warmest ever we've ever been. So, of course, the NOAA had to throw some dispersion on that. So, guys, what do y'all think? What do y'all really think about this data? 5 million years of climatic change from sediment cores. For one thing, it shows that it's erratic. It jumps up and down fairly often. Bing, 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 bing. Well, any of these peaks or troughs is going to be rough on food production, guys. But this happens. So our food production is kind of maxed out. So it's not really set. We're going to take a lot of disruption. We get 10 to 12K years of warmth and then burn. Exactly. This is at, oh, wait, no, this is millions of years. This is not the chart I thought I was bringing up. Okay. I have to go back and find it. This is not the one I thought I was bringing up. Let's see. There's a chart somewhere. It looks like that. This curve looks like that, but it's, yeah, it's similar to that. Our particular one we're in now. Dadgummit, where's that chart at? Maybe they took it out. Yeah, they may have deleted it because it might have been too political. Yeah, I had it in the past. I'll see. I should find it elsewhere. Anyway, no, that's not the same chart. But that's kind of how it's looked. We've been going down. In fact, I know that's not it because we had the recent global, we had a medieval warm period. I showed some chart that alluded to that, but it's been doctored. Okay, they're taking stuff off the internet probably. All right, but 2 million years, just 2 million years ago, I've talked about this in the past too. Here's a scientific paper. 2 million years ago, the late Pliocene and early Pleistocene periods, 3.5 to 0.8 million years ago, Greenland was warm. This is when you had flowers and bunny rabbits in Greenland. So are we really the warmest place ever? Is it full-blown doomsday? I think not. Could our food supply get severely disrupted? Yes, it probably will. And given that the other problems we're having right now, I'll talk about that in the previous year. I'll talk about it in a minute. Ice Age, Ebola, I think. Yeah, I don't know. We're actually we're considered to be in the Quaternary Ice Age right now. We're considered to be in an interglacial period of the Quaternary Ice Age, which is like 2 million years. It started after that warm period there. All right, guys, here's the good news. All this stuff, America's doomed. It don't have to be. And it turns out it's still 3/4, in spite of all the indoctrination in the schools, 3/4 of our people, midnight sun. Hey, I've seen some midnight sun. It's probably still shining all day up there in Alaska right now, or at least not getting dark. 2/3 of Americans are still extremely or very proud to be Americans, in spite of all the indoctrination. Isn't that amazing? But what this article is about, what it really says is what we've got to do is go back to what made this country great in the first place. Don't abandon our principles that allowed us to have both prosperity and freedom. That's what this article is all about. And that's what I'm saying. Bang. All right, we're done with that stuff. I'm not going to go through a bunch more articles tonight because I do need to de-amp a little bit, and I got to crawl in the hay because I got to get up shortly. Cooler here than usual. Okay, drops. That don't surprise me. Yeah, we've hit low 90s here in terms of real temperature. We've not hit 100. It's supposedly the hottest month, July. Now, Texas is having some issues, but you get that from time to time and place to place. And so is China. So China, yeah, reverse the time and harsh but fair. So China has it's a huge country like the United States. China is huge. They're having drought in the lower section and the heat wave. It's just cooking crops. In the upper section, they got a cool drought. But in the middle, they're being hit by heavy rain. So the middle is getting wiped out by rains, while both the other sections are just baking and drying out. So they're having huge crop disruptions in China right now. And we're having crop disruptions here because of the drought. And we make so much food. Normally we should be okay at sans high prices, but our aquifer, that we're pulling from there in the Great Plains states, is really dropping. So it's just a matter of time that it's going to be gone. So then they're totally subject to the weather at that point. So guys, you can't rely on the system. The bottom line here is we can't rely on the system. And in fact, the system would just drag us down because they like to drag us into war. I might do a special topic on that. I might do that when I'm about to hit a phase that I may not have as much time to do the news article research or I may be moving soon. So I may not be at my computer. I may not have all the resources at my fingertips I got now, but that's when I'll come out and just talk more to you philosophically about what's going on, about things like that. You know, like my old walks in the woods, y'all. Some of you guys told me you wanted to hear more of, except I might be making them on the road. But can a strong solar flare cause a change to permanently ignite explosives in the power plants? No, Tiffany. It's not what I worry about. Rely on my chickens. That sounds good. This world is crazy unreal. You got that right, William. Definitely right on that. You have pride, Dutch. So I get weepy when I hear the national anthem. Okay. Yeah. So Steve, where my chickens need no cage. No cage money. I can't see the whole thing. I used to have game chickens. I didn't feed them anything. I just turned them loose. They took care of themselves. They foraged. Oh yeah, they were tough chickens too. All right, so they were pretty darn close to the original wild chickens. John Long, ma'am, and Lisa. Well, yeah, say hi to everybody. Hello. All right, so tell about the God, family, country. Yeah, we got to return to our values, and we need to teach that. We need to start talking it to our friends, talking it to our community. Why America's not all bad. Sure, the government runs this country. They ain't the people. The country is the people. Now, they don't want you to know that. They want you to think they're the country. The news media, we're it. No, they're not. They're the lying sacks of, you know what, sitting on top, dishing out the propaganda that we're all having to endure. And nobody believes them anymore. Just look at Congress. What's their approval rate? 20%? That's probably generous. It's sad when a country gets to that state. Why? Because they're not watching out for us. And we got all this bureaucracies that serves themselves. Like I said, the three-letter agencies, the regulator and the regulatee, have an incestuous relationship or revolving door between them. So they're looking out for their own self-interest, not for you and me. So that's what we got to bear in mind. A lot of these agencies ought to be gutted. Save us a lot of money if you just knock a lot of that mess out, because they're not doing us any good at all. In fact, they're costing us money, and the stuff they're passing does not help the citizens of this country at all. Washington State, 0.50 more a gallon for, oh, wow, it will tax you that much just to handle the carbon tax. Well, you can thank Al Gore. Thank him. Bible codes, it says end times. Well, it does certainly look a lot like it. It's, you know, it's looking like we're on the verge of the book of Revelations. I might do another share. Hang on, guys. So, oh, shoot, it's going to update. I had a tweet I wanted to show y'all. Oh, should I close the one I want to show you? Oh, well. Yeah, so what y'all think about Disney? What y'all think about the fact that, you know, Lucasfilms was a great enterprise once upon a time. Star Wars and Indiana Jones was fun. Swashbuckling, Big Adventures, that was fun stuff. But Disney had to buy them. When Disney got them, it all went wokey. And you know what? Nobody wants to see the stuff. You know, Disney's had bomb after bomb after bomb. Nobody wants to watch their stuff anymore. Disney used to put out, you know, seemingly good cartoons, things like that. You know, Mickey Mouse was never as funny or anywhere near as witty as Bugs Bunny, though. Bugs Bunny was witty and funny. Mickey Mouse, I never liked Mickey Mouse. So I got to ask, is the House of Mouse in the House of Klaus? Is Mickey the mouse in the House of Klaus? Is the House of Mouse in the House of Klaus? I kind of think so. Yeah, and maybe that's the problem. You know what Klaus Schwab has come out and said? By the year 2030, there'll be no need for a style, or there'll be no clothing. Hey, everybody's gonna wear the same thing. You're all gonna wear a uniform. It's like a prison uniform everybody's gonna wear. You know, is it all gonna be striped? Is everybody gonna be wearing some prison uniforms on prison Earth? When you get back to the movies from the 50s and 60s, yeah, that's when they made some good movies. Go woke, go broke. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and good. It's good for them. Yeah, they're losing money hand over fist, just like you know what, light. You know, and even BlackRock is walking back their ESG because they lost a ton of money, like $2 billion or more, some crazy amount of money BlackRock's lost. So suddenly Mr. Fink is going, oh, well, he is the one that was behind it. So he's just paying lip service, but he is definitely making some change. So that's where there's hope, guys. You are the hope. You are the hope. We don't have to take what they want to dole out at us laying down, and we never should. Speak up, step back. Don't buy their junk. Have you heard them? You don't buy their junk. What have I told you a zillion times? Spend your money locally. Buy from your local farmers. Go to the farmer's market. Buy from the local shopkeepers. Go, if you got to get some repairman out, call up the small artisan, especially the older guys that know how to do this stuff. You know, these big companies, they get all these regulations passed in cities and all municipalities everywhere that now they got to go through. I had an electrician tell me he had to go through 21 certifications to be able to go in the house and put in, do electrical work. He says it's not worth it anymore. Every one of them's a test. It takes a lot of time to go through and a lot of money because they all have very steep fees. But see, these companies, these big companies, they push this stuff just to drive all the little guys out of business. And then they hire snot-nosed kids to go out who don't know how to wire anything. I've had one of those companies out here and they made a mess. I've had to get, had to get it redone. And they charge way more money to do a mess than the artisan would that would know what they're doing. Yeah. So there you go, guys. Doc Holiday. So maybe I'll wear a plate carrier. Is that going to be your uniform? The flushing recliner was ahead of it. The flushing recliner. Yikes. So, yikes. Let's see. I built a site for the wife's homemade goat milk soap. That sounds awesome. J-Mac, you have to restart every couple of years, retest. Okay. Well, this guy told me he had 21 certifications, some crazy number. 21. To have occasional retest is fine, but 21, that sounds. I turned 21 in prison, doing life without parole. Yeah, it sounds crazy. Putin was one of yes, Island Girl, bingo. So that's why I think a lot of people think Putin is out after Klaus. But I've shown you a video where he was talking to him, like kissing up to him just before he went into Ukraine. Yeah, I've seen the video. I shared it way back when too. He was basically kissing up. Yeah, he was considered a protege of Klaus. So are they playing a big game on us? You tell me. I don't trust any of them. All governments are corrupt. Some are more corrupt than others, but the bigger they are, the more corrupt they are. Rewire an old car. There you go, black sheep. It's not easy to rewire the old ones, right? So the bigger the government, the more corrupt they are. See what happens. These agencies may be set up for a good purpose, but once they outlive their purpose and accomplish their mission, do they stand down and say, okay, we did our job, let's close shop? No, they just grow. They metastasize like cancer throughout society, go bigger and bigger, and take more and more control, and they choke out private individuals. One, just God stop touching people. What does that mean? God stop touching people. Anyway, so people are saying, I'm a television repairman. I can fix anything. All right, good, big one. That's good. Agree with that in the UK. Same thing in the UK, huh? I don't doubt that for a minute. Yet same rough trends everywhere, all over the place. Let me move this laptop around. Read your stuff directly. We're going to call it a night here. We've been going now for how long? What's the timestamp? Usually shows me a timestamp there. See how long we've been on. I don't see it. Well, there it is. 58 minutes. We've been going longer than 58 minutes, but our let's run out. It's not right. Grumpy monkey soap. That's a good one. Grumpy monkey soap. All right, let's see here. LEHMAN'S Kleenex. Tiffany, I used to work for Disney back in the day, and now they're entirely different. Yeah. It's changed. It's changed. George. Looney Tunes over Disney any day of the week. Amen. But that's all, folks. I'm going to Porky Pig at the end. Yeah. The only one that came close to being funny was Donald Duck. Or no, his uncle Scrooge McDuck. Yeah, he was funny, but not as funny as Daffy Duck. Daffy Duck was funnier. Do I think we're in the end days? I think it resembles, if it's not the end days, it sure resembles it. I don't want to say for sure, because no man knows the day and the hour. A lot of us have come to think that many times, but you know, it sure resembles it. Greta put the G in goofball. 7-6. Oh yeah, Greta. We already passed her first doomsday, guys. We're not even here. We'd be all burned up. We just don't know it. At least there's no alligators in the sewers. Have you checked? Planet X system. I don't think Nibiru's coming around. They're trying real hard to discover a planet out there. Hey, Nightman's wife. How you doing? All right. Grozen's a billionaire. He can hide anywhere unless the court put out a warrant for him. Well, I don't know. Look what would Trump's a billionaire and ex-president. What they've done to him. Southern Homestead, very fishy. Yeah, something's fishy. Something may be cooking. Drop says meetings and letters to farmers. Oh yeah, I already read that. Yeah, there's guys, grow your own food. Most of my videos have got links to Tree Leaf Market, Eden Brothers. Check them out, guys. Check them out. I love the coon heads where cone heads where they said everyone is on goofballs. Jesus said, spirit is like the wind. No man can see it. Not with your eyes. The house was groomed by Kissinger. That's true. That's true. That's true. And Kissinger might outlive him too. I'm feeling better. Yeah, I'm feeling better. You know, I think this C60 purple power has perked me up. 2 in the morning, I'm just all fiery. 2:30. This stuff has perked me up. I ain't been getting no sleep. I don't have time for that stuff. So check out my links to this stuff. This is it's got a dispenser thing there. I discovered that after I popped the top. So I don't eat the gummies when I'm live with you guys, but see, I got the liquid in the bottles. Go to shopc60.com and you get 10% off if you use the code Greg10. Greg10, Jerry G10. That's cinnamon. And I got these gummies. I don't eat these when I'm live. They're tart cherry. Tell you what, they are tart. This is my live video treat to myself. I don't have a commission deal with them, but if they keep me supplied with this stuff, I'll be happy. If you guys buy from them, they'll keep sending me this stuff. That's the deal. So tart. Digby. Back in the day, they wouldn't let you work at Disney if you had facial hair or long hair. Wow. All right, what are you saying about my facial hair and long hair? Ooh, that is tart. But it's really good. I was just saying to Kenya, I'll let myself out. Let's go to him. Smoking one, George. All right, let's keep it family clean, guys. Makes your mouth water. Yeah, I do have more energy. My knees are better. I'm about to get out and start running stuff. That's what Rex always said. He said this stuff gave him a lot of energy. You can see it. So go to shopc60.com. Strong. That's the strong. That's the tart one. The others aren't tart like that. But you got the coconut oil. Now, that's got a lot of flavor to it. Like avocados. This is avocado oil. Now, the other one's kind of tart. I like the cinnamon. You can add this to your food. Give it a little spicy flavor, a little cinnamon. C60. All right, guys, we've been going long enough. I think we need to call it a night because I got to get up in a little bit. I got to drive to a funeral, unfortunately. So, chat room's not updating. Anyway, guys. All right, we got 180 in the room and only, I just lost the chat room. And only let's go back. We only got 148 thumbs up. Now we lost some people. So on the way out, please give me a thumbs up. I need the help with the Al Gore Has No Rhythms. Kishner was when I was a kid. Yeah, isn't it funny how some of these people that are just Soros and David Rockefeller lived, what was he, like over 100? A lot of those guys. And Cheney, he got so many hearts from so many different people. Yeah, he's probably so mean, he burned those hearts out. Yeah, that's him we go to. Drops Chili Market brings you great selection. Hey, all right, very good. Thank you. Appreciate that, Drops. All right. I feel like putting a spoonful of coconut oil in my coffee. Oh, yeah, that would be a good way to do it, guys. That would be a good one. California Raisin Freeze, 300%. Jeez. We're trying to make our life so difficult. Stuck in a Cold War. Politicians, war is not good. No, nothing's good about war. Nothing's good. You know, some of these, a lot of our politicians are, you know, they got some of these big defense contractors, you know, the military industrial complex got their hands in their pockets. Yeah, a lot of stuff about that Kissinger guy. Now, he was part of trying to cover up that Malay massacre way back. Apparently, that's according to a video I saw recently on it. Documentary. So, anyway, guys, let's call it a night. I want to thank you, super chatters. I want to thank you, mods, for all you're doing. I want to thank everybody who's been there. I see the thumbs coming up. All right, we had 173 in the room, but only 169 thumbs up. Give us a few more. Give me a thumbs up on the way. I need the help with the algorithms. So anyway, thank you for everything, and especially thank you for being here. We're family. Just remember that. Keep your eyes wide open and your head on a swivel, because it's coming at us from every direction right now. And you know, we can do a lot of change for this world. So we can start it from within. And you know, like Rex always say, be the change you want to see. Well, you know, what the world needs is love. Ragnarok. Yeah, I believe that we got some Ragnarok on the way. Armageddon, Ragnarok. See my Viking up there? It's supposed to be Odin. So just remember that is dark. Light dispels dark. Love dispels hate. Go out and shine your love light in the world. Chewy's here. Hey, Chewy. Hi, everyone. Well, that